Good evening. The Who's today were on at Canterbury Park, because the fence at Canterbury is the place to be. The rail was out 3 metres. If you found the fence in the lead, it was a huge advantage. Not as big as we have seen, but it was an advantage. And saving ground on the fence was also an advantage. Now, the first race today, only 4 runners went around, and bookies gave 90% in the small field, 101.6 on the flux screen, 90% given in the ring. The winner, 6-4, was given in the outside ring. And one of the captains on the fence having a nice little plate of the 6-4, and it started $1.80, 5-4 on, and it didn't lead. And we're talking about a horse called Jordan, trained by Gay. It sat outside the leader, Clever Boy, who had barrier 1, ridden by Bowman. It went up favourite. It went up favourite at $2.10, and the other one, Jordan, the winner, went up at 5-4, $2.20, and the Clever Boy never had a name. It went from $2.10 to $3.50. Couldn't lay $5 to 2 on the outside ring when they jumped. Never gave it, but was cheering for it. Bookies bet $5.50. Ladilo started that price, $5.50. As I say, Clever Boy, $3.50, 30-1 Taya, and 6-4 given in the fence in the outside ring. The winner, $2.20 on the fence. 90% if you shop keenly, and it was all over halfway up the straight when Clever Boy had shaken off Jordan before the turn. The other two had dropped off. One of them copped a check. They weren't obviously going to win. And as I say, the judge was just about to put the number in the frame, but giving that bit of a new whip style action that he's got, Tommy Berry, it kept on coming. And Clever Boy, who set a very fast pace, Huey, he wanted the lead. He was caught in the last few strides to go down by about a head or a neck. But anyway, the favourite backers, they got the cash. I joined in at $1.95 for 4,000 to 3,800 on to one of the pros. He knew what he was doing, and I finished on the wrong side of the ledger there. In the second race, 104.6 on the flux screen, 103 in the ring. The winner, Cleeks, was having its third run in Sydney for the Snowden camp, and it got the biscuits today, as I say. It was back from opened up $8, got out to $9, only started 8. So, excuse me, sat outside the lead, and it was a bit too strong for Arenosa, who finished second favourite. Excuse me, who finished second favourite at $4.80. It came off its back and couldn't run it down, only beaten 0.8 of a length. And the favourite, Sweet Talking Woman, who was a very bad result for me, laying 17,000 to 5,000 at one stage. It came from midfield on the fence, getting off heels. Well, not getting off heels. He was under pressure before the turn and going nowhere, but he did keep on coming. Must give him his credit. Only beaten 2.1 lengths, and those three got right away from the others and beat them easy. The horse that led in the race, Tough Justice, it dropped out and ran last. There was a few excuses. The rider said it was very flat in its prelim, and it also the vet ran his hand over it and said the horse was very lethargic. First, second, and third were the best runs. The winner up near the lead and sitting outside the lead, and proved a little bit too strong. Race 3, 109 on the flux screen, 104 in the marketplace. And here we saw the import, Glen Cadden Gold, trained by Gay, ridden by Nash, get home by the nose margin on the line. It missed a kick slightly from barrier, from an outside barrier. It came in 1, barrier 11 in a field of 12. In a field of 11, actually. It had the outside alley, and he missed a kick slightly, Nash, and but then went and set outside the leader, a 30-1 chance, the top one, Delario, and turning for home, he was up outside it, but up on the outside of him was Brian's Honour, who was on his back all the way, and actually got at least a head in front of him. And he was always in front of him, Brian's Honour, most of the way down the straight, but right on the line where it counts, Nash was able to in his lower style, push the winner's head, Gregory Peck, out, push its neck out that little bit, and you could see Nash bob him on the line, and that got the favourite backers home. Anyone who took the evens, they most certainly wouldn't be taking evens if you run the race again, but they got the biscuits. And the only other runner back, you're always able to lay the favourite evens. They even laid you 10 to 9 on for something at one stage. And the only other runner back in the race was number 4, Arawak, who had barrier 2, sat behind the leaders on the fence, and it finished up running fourth, beating 1.7 lengths. It was $9 into $7, well back, but not for a lot of section. All the other runners got out. Bookies didn't really know what to do, whether to stand the favourite. Punters, most certainly, if you gave them evens, they took the odds to it and they got the money. Race 4 saw 106 on the screen, 102 only in the marketplace, and the second horse would have been a bad result for me, and I think it should have got the biscuits, or chocolate biscuits. Charge account, it drew barrier 10 in a field of 10, and ridden by Father Schofield, he couldn't cross. And hunting up on his inside was Celtic Sea, ridden by Nashville Willer, keeping him off the fence, and charge account, a good long neck to a half a length in front of him at some stages, all the way to the turn where he'd shaken him off. But coming off their heels from barrier 1 was the winner, Omniscient, who was sucking up beautifully from that alley on the greyhound track at Canterbury, and then getting to the outside, and the toll just told a bit on the second horse, charge account, and went down by 1.3 lengths. It was a good gap to the other, 3.8 lengths away to the third horse, Turnley, who sat in sat outside the winner actually before the turn, having every possible chance. They all had their chance, except, as I say, a bit unlucky the second horse, because bet I laid there was 20,400 to 12,000 the second horse, so the winner was a bit away for me, but the winner was extremely well backed. The second horse went up favourite at $2.50, got out to $2.80 on one board at one stage, back into $2.70, whereas the winner opened up $3, got to $3.50 in the outer, $3.30 on the fence, plenty of it, but only started $2.80, the second favourite, and we know what the result was. Race 5, 109.5 on the screen, 103 in the marketplace, and the alley most certainly won the race for the winner, Tamanui Park. Drew barrier 1, was in fourth last position on the fence, 4 back on the fence from the lead, and never went around a runner. Turning for home, he'd got inside a couple of runners, including Let 'Em Have It, who was most probably the only runner in the race who didn't have a price, and every other runner was backed. And when they turned for home, he only had to get, there was one horse he had to get inside, and that was the leader, who was Cantonese, who'd used up a bit of petrol from the outside alley to get to the lead, and it hung under pressure, and Karen McAvoy was able to get inside it and only hold on and win by 0.3 of a length and beat the favourite, Cooper Claim, who missed the kick slightly, hit the rail at one stage, no effect, as did the winner hit the rail at one stage. The winner had a huge gap to come through, whereas Corey Brown had no alternative. He couldn't, I don't know whether he could have, he might have been able to follow the winner. He didn't do that, didn't take that option, and was off the fence before the turn, going in between runners, and only went down by 0.3 of a length, as I say, and he finished the race off better than any of the other runners. Run the race again, and it would start favourite. Getting into fourth hole was In the third hole was Kahlua, who had every possible chance. It was always in third or fourth position, one out, one back, and at all costs had every possible chance, who came off its back, and it was beaten 1.7 lengths running fourth. As I say, every runner on that race had a price, except Let 'Em Have It, who went from about $13, 12 to 1, out to 25 to 1, $26. We come to the winner was $17 taken, 15 hard to get at the death. Race 6, I found a customer here for this favourite, unfortunately, 27,500 to 25,000, a good bet for a midweek meeting at Canterbury. And it went straight to the front, ridden by Father Schofield. Sorrelina's the horse I'm talking about, 4-year-old mare, resuming today for O'Shea's camp, and she found the bunny, and that was enough to get her home by 1.3 lengths. Flux Green 107.4, best in the ring 105. There was a little bit of purr there, and a few runners layable, but the winner was most certainly the best back. Went up $1.90, got out to $2.10, and they laid you the 10 to 9 on at the finish. So it was a bad result for me, and I would say for most captains who lay favourites. Avondale was labelled at one stage at $7, which I got plenty out of, but it did start that price. And running second, and where did it run, Avondale? When we saw Turf Justice fail badly earlier on, that didn't help Avondale's prospects, even though Turf Justice had pulled up a bit lethargic. It finished up running seventh, beating 3.8 lengths, having every possible chance. Sat in the 1-1 position. In the running second was Megiddo, who drew barrier 1, came off the favourites back. It was also resuming today for the big camp with Brendan Abdullah up. It's only got a very short sprint, and she couldn't run down the winner when it got clear after straightening, beaten 1.3. And Nash Rambler, who was a little bit slow to begin, Nash Rambler, it came from third last, only beaten 1.8 lengths. So they're a fairly average lot, those runners. And the favourite, even though she's won well, you'll get odds about if you want to back her next start, especially if you want to back her with me. Race 7, we saw a well-backed runner win this race, Upshot. The fluctuations were $8 out to $13, back into 10. Extremely well found. On the flux screen, 100.8, but in the marketplace, only 95% given. And the winner sat in fourth position, in midfield, in fifth position, one off the fence, eased around their heels, turning for home. He had the second horse inside him all the way, which was High on Believing, who was the opening favourite, but never had a price. Well, you had to get to the $5.50, but the figures were so skinny, it was no good giving it. It went from 5 to 2 out to 9 to 2, $3.50 to $5.50, back into $5 at the death. Had every possible chance. Sat, as I say, inside the leader. Got a split turning for home. The horseman Bowman thought he might have had grounds for an objection, but he didn't bother putting it in once he saw the film, and he only went down by 0.2 of a length. And running third was the favourite. It didn't open up favourite, No Bad Blood. It opened up $7, but there was plenty of section for it. $7 into $4.40 with about a minute and a half to go. Did start $4.80 on my board, and I laid it. And it went straight to the front after using up a little bit of juice, but he did find he came across and slightly checked Eye of the Needle, who was trying to get up inside him, and Tommy Berry's going to cop a little holiday over that. But he did find the bunny No Bad Blood after that, as I say, which was the place to be. So his performance wasn't that good to go down, finding the best part of the track, but it only got beat 0.3 of a length. The three of them went across the line together. They were well clear of the other 3.5 lengths back to Sovereign Debt, who came from last. He never had a price. It was $12 out to $19. That's about all I'd say. Going back to Gay's horse, Glen Cadam. It's funny is that like John said that with the Gay's now doing the same thing as Waller, and a couple of others, I suppose, are doing the same thing, going over to Europe and buying tried stayers, bringing them back here, copying a little bit. They all copied the way John Size trained. He came down here. That all of a sudden he was barrier trialing a lot of his horses and getting them a lot fitter than a lot of the other trainers had them going into races. So of course everyone's barrier trial mad before they put them in races. They copied Size. Now they're copying Waller. I suppose it's good for racing, but until you see them actually in races like we did today, that horse trialled fairly well, but it didn't race like an even money chance. But anyway, they got the biscuits, and good luck to them. So we're off to Gosford tomorrow, and we'll see what happens there, and Rose Hill on Saturday. Good evening.